Windjet community, hello everyone, and please pardon our slight delay in starting. We had some technical difficulties on our end. And welcome to another week of Angelo from Alpha Hippie Studios in San Clemente, California. And I have something really great to talk about with everyone. And this is from a business aspect, yet really, this could be used in every aspect of your life. And with yourself and in even in a interpersonal relationship or partnership such as marriage and everything. We're entering the end of the year, and a lot of us are in a stage, at least business wise, I know certainly, are in a stage of planning for next year, budgeting for 2022, execution and strategy for 2022, and etc. And so I wanted to talk about that and at least give some tips and pointers or how we choose to go about doing it and things of that nature. First, it's really important to reflect on the last year. And why I say that is sometimes we just go into such a planning mode that I feel that we are not really soaking in all of the year. And one, recognizing and even celebrating the wins. Where to some extent, if you're still in business from a year ago, there has to be at least one thing to celebrate that you're still in business, besides a bunch of milestones of success that I'm sure that you've had. And so before you go off planning what you want next year, it's really great to sit down and reflect and recognize the things that you've done well and achieved over the last year. And do not overlook them because of ambition, drive, and all of that good stuff. Because what most people, when most businesses or entrepreneurs or podcasters do, is they get burnt out. And I really believe that burning out is a result of two things: not taking rest when they needed it, and also, two, not giving themselves or their organization or their team enough praise and recognition. Because if we're going into 2022 just not thinking about what we've done well, we lose our steam and momentum and even drive because we're not seeing our wins. We're usually only seeing our losses. And imagine me trying to coach you when everything I say to you is just telling you where you're lacking. And even think about that mindset of all we're focused on is where we're lacking. It's really, despite ambition and drive, which you could still have, oftentimes people overlook this step in the hope of just growing faster and getting right back to work, me myself included. It's probably one of the hardest parts for me, where to slow down and just take a minute and take a breath and really recognize all that you've been through, all that you've overcame, all the transformation that you've had to go through to actually be where you are right now. And it's also a great time when we're looking at recognizing and reflection is to get really good at looking at data, because a lot when we're entering this goal setting or planning phase for 2022, if you're like me, you have a million ideas a day. You have a lot of cool things that you want to do or think would be cool, or you saw someone doing this on social media, so you want to do it and all this stuff. Yet, without some good reflecting, recognizing and rejoicing of, really giving yourself a pat on the back for the things that you've done well, and then really unpacking data and really looking at what's going well, where are we lacking, and coming down to at least one problem that you're looking to solve for next year before you go into just adding mode of doing different things. Because it's so easy as a society and culture and our egos to just want to grow more and think that that's the answer, addition. Yet sometimes subtraction is actually better for the business and keeping it simple. And this has been showed us time and time again in history, right? McDonald's grew into McDonald's, starting with a hamburger, fries, and a Coke, right? Very simple, right? It didn't have the chicken nuggets and the McRib and the filet of fish and all these, how, I mean, I'm sorry, I haven't frequented McDonald's in quite a while, but I would imagine that their menu's quite large now. I see that they have salads and breakfast and all these things. And they all came with time and the right timing. And so take some time here and really get strategic with what's one big problem that you would like to solve going into next year. Then unpack it a little bit deeper and get into now more logical, right? After you've looked at the data, which is rather logical, but now that you see the problem, you want to get creative on how you could solve the problem, and then you want to get to logic on how you could execute solving that problem. And also, too, look at all these ideas that you have and make sure that the ideas that you possibly would like to execute are really fitting of your audience and the people that buy things from you, not based off assumption. And so see what's working, go deeper, and not just add unnecessarily, and use data to back, your assumptions. Because if you're like me, like I said, you want to just haul off and start this and do this and make this and create and build and do this and get fatter, shall we say. Yet sometimes what's really best for the business is if you go on a diet. And you could look at even Apple, for example, depending on what side you're on. Steve Jobs was really good at making Apple fat and well known and growing it. Yet Apple is its most powerful today because Tim Cook knew how to make it its most profitable. And so it's really a double-sided coin where you want to make sure you have that vision, and then at the same time you're doing the right things to solve problems for the business long term, and the biggest problem that your business may be having, and focusing on that. Now once you have a goal set up for like next year, let's say you know where you want to be 1 year from now, it's time to reverse engineer your plan. And what's really important when you're reverse engineering is thinking about dominoes, right? I love watching my son and I love sitting up on Sunday mornings. It's the only day that I choose to not have such a strict kind of routine. And he comes in bed with me, and we grab my phone and we veg out and we watch dominoes falling. And it's something that him and I kind of space out and do. But think about that when it comes to your businesses. We have a year from now. This is where we want to end up, and backtrack all the dominoes that need to happen, unpack that. What needs to happen for us to make this from these revenue streams, unpack it deeper. What drives these revenue streams? Okay, so if I have a coaching program, I want to sell 50, whatever, 50 of my courses in a month. Great, 50 courses in a month. How many sales calls does that take? How many leads scheduled does that take? How many overall leads would that take? And then what is my strategy to get those leads? What's been working? What's not been working? What would be our advertising budget, our marketing budget, all these things into there. And so take your time through this process and really make sure you have something that feels good, something that you could clearly communicate to your team and everyone else, where you have a mission that's based off feelings, that's linked to evidence, because that is what ultimately people could hang their head on as truth. Be sure you know what's working, why it's working, you're understanding your core problem that you're trying to solve, right? Because when you get to the core one and you start solving it, more than likely you'll solve a bunch of other ones as well. Okay. And be good at setting budgets and parameters and KPIs and really making sure that you're going into 2022 ready to do this. And I have news for everyone. For us, this is probably a 4 to 6 week process of really digging and thinking about things and contemplating things and looking at all our options and really weighing things out. If you could do this in a day, I really believe that you're just winging it. And so take your time here as you're doing this and stepping into a bigger form of your podcast, business venture, whatever it is, and really savor this time of maybe the business slowing down a little bit because of the holidays and things like that. Yet you yourself and your organization then are going to double down on planning. You're not really slowing down completely. It's just the energy is being shifted to other areas so that you could start 22 in the execution mode and knowing exactly what you're doing, because if you know one domino at a time what you're due to execute, you'll have less burnout, less overwhelm. Your team will know exactly what they're supposed to do. Communication will be better. Expectations will be better. And all of these wonderful things will then land you where you want to be a year from now. Okay. So continue to focus here and guide yourself this way. Now, also, too, like I mentioned, this is a great exercise for you to do for yourself. If you have a partner or spouse, this is a great exercise for you to do as a family. You could do this as one, who do you want to be, relationship wise, financially, all of these things, right? Some people have physical goals of transforming their body and such in a period of time. You could do all of these things now during this holiday season that allows a lot of us to reflect, and for people like me to actually appreciate the time of slowing down from that external facet of business and appreciating more of where I could put that energy and focus into the internal instead of having a struggle with either side of things. And so that I really wanted to bring that to you guys because I felt it November 1st come on that it's not the time to really the energy of charging into, business may not be the external side of business, may not be the right time. It's different time for everyone depending on holidays and things like that. For a lot of people, depending on where they were in 2020, this is the first possible real Christmas, Thanksgiving they're really going to have with everyone in 2 years. And so people are going to want to savor that. I'm sure you are as well. Yet don't slow down completely from your goals. Make them better, more refined. So when it comes into January, you're ready and raring and thirsting and ready to go. If you are not at that position or you're just shooting off the hip, you'd be great at doing and you might get lucky, but without a proper strategy and development and knowing what you need to execute, you're just shooting to shoot. And then you're wasting energy or bullets. And the name of the game is aim small, miss small. So use this time effectively. Don't let it just go to waste. Don't forego, the year's off. I'm just gonna blah blah blah, or just write a quick and easy plan and think that that's what's going to really get you to where you want to land. Use this time effectively. It's about shifting your focus, not your energy or the amount of energy you're giving, right? Because if you could slow down and shift that internal, your external is going to reflect that 1 year from this time. I guarantee it. Have a beautiful week, Winject community. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Reach out to us any of the ways that you can reach out to Alvip if you have any questions on this or if there's any way that we could serve you. Men, we have a lot of great things coming up in 2022 with our courses, our program. We have a very special book launch coming out, The Alpha Hippie Code. It's going to be an amazing book that's going to be geared towards men and helping you live a better, more harmonized life in all of the areas with their self, with their wealth, and their relationships. I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Cast brought to you by Winject Studios. We are an all-in-one educational platform for podcasters that revolutionizes how hosts leverage content to increase engagement with listeners, downloads, and income. We come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. For more information on how you can interact directly with our hosts, access exclusive live content with offers you can't get anywhere else from our official partners, join our purpose-driven community by visiting www.winject.com. If you're ready to build a career doing what you love, then we're ready to see you there.